Welcome to the Mindset Entrepreneur video podcast. I'm your host, Mark Altman. Thrilled to be back here again today. Before I introduce my guest, I just want to share the fact that one of the thrills of doing this show is meeting interesting people, meeting people who have that entrepreneurial spirit, but also have a huge spirit to helping people. And today we have someone that fulfills both of those characteristics. Her name is Christin OBrien. Christin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Mark.
So Christin, to me, entrepreneurship is so much about having your cake and eating it too, and fulfilling a passion and, making money, but really having the opportunity to help people. And so if you could just talk about Spirit Box a little bit and how that all kind of evolved.
Sure. So Spirit Box came about because my daughter was an all-star cheerleader, and it was very expensive for us to continue putting her in cheer. And so what we decided to do was find a way that we could do something together and bring something to life that would help fundraise to help keep her involved in that. And that was as a result of a very emergent situation on our part with an emergency surgery. But fast forward, the box has taken off. It is a box of goods for girls 4 through 16 that we put together that we hope will inspire kids, that will empower kids. And we started out with the intention of selling 50 boxes a month to help pay for Mairead's cheer, and we are boxing about 600 boxes a month out of our home and shipping them all over the world.
Well, Christin, before we get to the huge accomplishments and strides you've already made in this business, what's interesting is I think when you start a business and you start to pursue that dream, it's always interesting what kind of spurs that on. And in your case, it was an emergency surgery. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of weird. If that hadn't happened, who knows if Spirit Box ever would have come about. So what were you doing before that? What has been your love in terms of helping people? Where did that evolve from?
It's always been and not planned on my part, but it always ends up being that I somehow work in an arena of some sort with children. And every position that I've taken, it always leads me back to how it directly affects kids. So I've been a teacher, I've run a preschool, I've worked in high tech, but I coach, and I was always a volunteer with children. And my last full-time employment I was a teacher of entrepreneurship and marketing, and I loved helping kids write business plans and get their businesses going and do pitch contests. And so it's always been my pleasure to work with kids.
So talk about a little bit, if you would, about some of the influences you had earlier in your life, and if there were any impact events that kind of spurred on entrepreneurship for you.
There was one event in high school where it was a career day, and this woman came in and talked to us about, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she was a lawyer, and I said, I want to be a lawyer. And she said, oh, do you want to be a mother? I said, of course. She said, well, you probably couldn't do the two and do it really well. And I changed my mind about being a lawyer because kids are very important to me, and I knew, even at 17, that I really want to be a great mom. And if I couldn't do that and follow my love of law, then, I have to pick something else out. And after really sitting on that, I decided that really impacted me. And so the next career day, I invited my mother to come in. And my mother came in, and she was the president of a corporation that was doing over $1 million in sales. And I said, show them how you balance it. You have 3 kids, you have a great life, show us how you balance it. And that made me feel better.
Christin, are there, we hear a lot about in the workplace, gender inequality in the workplace. When it comes to entrepreneurship, are there different challenges females have in growing businesses and getting businesses off the ground? And if so, have you encountered them?
Not so much on my end. I'm sure they're out there. I know there are because I talk to many friends of mine that have businesses. But I have not encountered that as much. I'm involved. I put myself in programs and with organizations that really support women and support what I'm doing. I was recently involved in an accelerator program with 73% of their people who come through the accelerator are all women. And I'm doing a funding campaign. It's all based upon women supporting women. So for me, that hasn't happened, but I know it's definitely out there.
So Christin, one of the fascinating things as I learned more about your business is so many entrepreneurs are trying to find good people to work with. And in your case, you have inspired so many people to want to work, I wouldn't even say for you, to work to support the cause. And I think that speaks volumes of the kind of values you have. And so what is it that you think has made people gravitate to this cause? What is it that you think is unifying and motivating people?
I think because it's kind of like a movement and it's grown organically. We have a lot of volunteers who help us box the box and spread the word about Spirit Box, but everything, people love the idea of this started from nothing. It was the first box on the market that was like this, and we grew it in Haverhill, and we grew it in the Merrimack Valley, and now it's going national, and now we're international, and they feel part of the process. Without them, and I let them know every single month that they come over, without the people who help support us, Spirit Box would be nothing.
Christin, you've done something, and I know you're very humble. You've done something that I think is rather remarkable, right? So you have the kids that you're working with promoting this on Instagram because they believe in it so much.
Yeah.
You know, how often can you motivate kids to help support a business for somebody else, by the way? And then you've got the mothers and the parents who are helping you put these boxes together. So beyond the fact that they're for cheerleaders, what is the hope for you that when a cheerleader gets this box, and I know you have a box for mothers and daughters to share, what is the kind of culture and environment you're trying to create with these Spirit Boxes?
Well, the name, we came up with the name Spirit because I believe, you know, obviously it means, you know, cheer and spread spirit, but it's something that's in the heart. And, you know, I've been a cheerleader since I was a youth and coaching, and my daughter is a cheerleader. And it's just something that, whether you're in it or you're involved in it, you're on the peripheral, it's something that it's hard to explain, that there's a love for it, a passion for the sport. It's something that's inherently inside of you. And so that's kind of, you know, how we came up with the name, and that's why I think that it's grown so fast. The kids are involved in it. They all have spirit in their heart. They want to do good for others. They want to be involved in their community. They want to give back. That's just kind of, it's part of their DNA. It's part of who they are.
So when you came up with the idea to do the Spirit Box, you were trying to fill a gap, okay? And what was the gap that you thought needed to be filled? And the end result was, it also occurred to me, you were trying to create a feeling, right? So what was the gap you were trying to fill, and what was the feeling you were trying to create?
So we went on doing research for creating this box. I found that there was not one other box on the market that had all these elements at the time. We were the very first to market Spirit Box. And
So, no, that's okay. So basically, we're talking about the gap.
Yes,
and so
sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
So the gap was that there wasn't a box like this on the market. So we're going to fill it to, you know, create something that was local and let her friends buy it, and something that would be more of a hobby or something on the side. We never ever imagined that it would grow to what it is now. And it's more than just a box. It's the community is so much more valuable than just what the box is about. So now it's grown on its own through these kids, through these parents, to be a very positive community that people are involved with, that want to be part of. They gladly share the information because, you know, with the filter that the kids see the world through, social media, is not always positive. And so this kind of filters it back down and brings it back down to, let's keep kids young, let's get them involved, and let's promote each other on Instagram, let's promote each other on social media, and support one another. So we do a lot of support campaigns.
So educate our audience about what are some of the things in the box, so they can get a feel for what's included.
Would you like me to open a box?
I would love it. They would love it.
So this box that I brought is our teen box, and we've always been for cheerleaders and dancers and gymnasts, but we are starting to really move out of that arena and grow up a little bit and be for all girls. And we do have a cheerleader box, but this is more like a teen box. So some items that we would include might be, a lot of cheerleaders and young girls like to have their lashes. We always put positive messages on a lot of our products. So this is a makeup pouch. It says positive vibes on it. And this is a t-shirt that we did last month for getting back in the gym and getting back to work. And it says cheer like a beauty and train like a beast, get back to work.
Oh, yeah.
So just telling, making the kids feel special. Earrings, kids love earrings and jewelry and makeup and whatnot. So that's one of the teen boxes, things that you find. All high quality products from well-loved vendors that work with me to help. They believe in our mission. So a lot of them will work with me right off the bat.
And so it feels like, really, there's a word that's coming to my head. Spirit's definitely a big one, but it feels like you're really instilling a sense of pride. You're instilling a sense of pride in being a cheerleader, and you're instilling a sense of pride in the community, and it seems like that's a big part of the mission here, is to instill that sense of pride. Is that accurate?
I would say so. The kids, a lot of people have been with me since I started, so they've purchased 32 boxes in a row.
Wow.
That's unheard of in subscription box world. When you have a churn rate of, anything under 10% is great. We've always been under 10%. We've never lost more than 10% of our clients month over month. So the pride of, they get the box, but when the purple box comes to their door, the kids jump for excitement. They actually video that and put that on Instagram about how excited they are to receive their box.
So Christin, let's talk about some of the challenges you face, because as a startup, obviously you're using social media and Instagram, and word of mouth is critical. But for our audience watching this today, if they wanted to jump on board and support this cause, what are some of the challenges you face, and how can people help?
Some of the challenges we face, we're growing fast, so we've had to kind of curtail some of our growth because we are still working from home. So we are looking to get out into the mainstream. That in itself is a huge obstacle for us, because we are beloved in this small niche market, and to get and to grow into the mainstream is going to take a lot of effort on our part to become well-known and as well-loved in that market as we are in the cheer and the dance and gymnastic world.
So these spirit boxes and the inspiration movement, as you mentioned before, from an audience perspective, it could be cheer, it could be dance, it could be gymnastics. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's involved in any of those arenas could be someone who could either help you or be interested in purchasing these boxes from you.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And then as far as the future goes, what is your long-term vision for this business?
Well, our plan is we're launching the next box that will bring us to the mainstream. So that's our first short-term goal, is to launch the Infinity Box. The Infinity Box is the luxury brand that we will have.
I love it. There's a luxury brand.
Yeah, there's a luxury brand. It's a box, first of its kind again. We're first to market with, it's a mother-daughter box, so that it comes 4 times a year, and it will have items for both mom, daughter to share, as well as a conversation pack, so that when they open it together, after they go through the items and fight over who gets what, and have fun with that, there's a conversation starter pack. In our first box, the conversation is about community. What is a community? Are you part of it? Are you doing enough to be part of your community? What can you do more? And talking about experiences from mom and the daughter, kind of sharing what they could do. We really want to bring new tradition to mother-daughter relationships, just to slow down, put the phones away, slow down, open up the box. Yes, there's goodies in there, but deeper than that, it's the connection between a mother and a daughter, and creating those conversations, empowering and inspiring one another. That's my goal with that box. And as we grow, we're looking to do a lot more resources for kids and doing more campaigns, giving more to charities and doing more with the kids as we grow and evolve into a bigger business.
Well, and Christin, something that just occurred to me, as sons and daughters get older, for that matter, maintaining your strength of your connection with your parents as you get into high school can be tough. And I think a lot of times parents are looking for ways to maintain that bond, and you're really giving them a vehicle, outside of going and watching, to actually experientially participating with your child. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she's right on the cusp of when she wants to go to dinner, it's not with us, and when she wants to go to the movies, it's not with us anymore. So you have to let them fly, but it's good to bring it back together and maybe sit around the table and have something that, at least 4 times a year you can sit and really have deep conversation.
And Christin, so if people want to reach out to you to purchase the Spirit Boxes, learn more about them, see if they can become involved themselves, what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
Well, you can learn more about us at myspiritbox.net. That's a great way to get started. Or you could email me personally at myspiritbox@gmail.com. To learn more about us, follow us on social media at myspiritbox. And anybody who has any ideas or any advice or would like more information, I would love to hear from them.
Fantastic. Christin, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
So thank you for joining us for another edition of the Mindset Entrepreneur video podcast. We will look forward to seeing you next time.